Welcome, class. Today's lecture examines a complex web of power. Who truly commands the Crucible Guard? Is it the Aurum Magnus in his Audic Tower, the Marshal General on the battlefield, or the King who holds their purse strings? We will unravel the chain of command, where alchemical rank meets military necessity, and where loyalties are divided between a fallen homeland and a royal patron. Also, for those students who know this already, I appreciate your extensive knowledge of the Crucible Guard. Also, if you are appreciating this lore of the Iron Kingdoms, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment below about your favorite character or faction. And without further ado, let's begin. The organization of the Crucible Guard draws from and expands on the original historical structure of the Golden Crucible. The military has undergone some reformation in the past several years, adding ranks as required. Both the Crucible Guard and the larger order prefer simple hierarchies to complex ones, and so, despite a proliferation of titles, there is a relatively straightforward chain of command. Some of the titles utilized by the alchemists themselves, for example, do not confer authority, but instead suggest expertise or mastery over a given field. The operational size of the organization also reduces the need for a complex hierarchy. The Golden Crucible boasted branch offices in many large towns and cities, but membership at each was limited and simply organized. The Crucible Guard is similarly small compared to a national standing army, its total soldiery having strength on the order of a single division of the Signaran or Cadoran armies. Even with the increased recruitment in the last few years, the Crucible Guard favors seasoned fighters with years of experience. A rather select pool of candidates. Where some would see a weakness in this lack of numbers, the Crucible Guard sees a strength. The entire army can be outfitted with the highest quality weapons and equipment at the Guard's disposal, and logistics for supply chains and for outfitting a battle group remain simple, allowing the organization to be strategically mobile and flexible. Leadership of the Order. The leader of the Order of the Golden Crucible is Aurum Magnus Helt Langworth, who also has broad oversight over dispatching the Order's military elements, deciding its larger priorities and strategic objectives. The Aurum Magnus remains in Ord to oversee the ongoing expansion of the Order and its military, coordinating with the Assembly of Masters on matters of concern and acting as a guiding voice for all of the Golden Crucible's efforts at home and abroad. Serving the Aurum Magnus are the collective Aurum Lucanum, the senior-most alchemists in the Order. These leaders oversee various aspects of organization, including running secondary chapter houses. The Aurum Magnus's role is complicated by agreements made with King Baird, Cathor II, Sovereign of Ord, who has been given special considerations in the use of this military arm. Another senior member of the organization, Aurum Lucanum Krina Torkale, serves as the primary liaison with the Ordic government and oversees its military contracts. It is understood that King Baird's strategic goals will be given priority, making the Crucible Guard an indirect extension of Ord's military strength. Aurum Legate Lucas de Moray fills an unusual position, with some overlap in his duties between the parent order and the Crucible Guard. A former Aurum Lucanum from Thunderhead Fortress, he has been given special oversight over all remaining Laerlease elements of the Order of the Golden Crucible and the Crucible Guard. He is also responsible for coordinating the efforts of the military with Laerlease resistance fighters, and his words carry great weight with the Resistance Council. Given that the current major conflict for the Guard involves military efforts in Lael, he has had a very active leadership role. Aurum Adeptus Silvestro works closely with the Aurum Legate, supervising the ranks of combat alchemists assigned to the Crucible Guard. Silvestro's role also crosses the gap between the alchemical and military branches of the Golden Crucible. Day-to-day oversight of the Order falls to the Assembly of Masters, made up of members of the Aurum Lucanum rank. This body advises the Aurum Magnus and keeps him apprised of significant current affairs. It is rare for all of the Masters to be present at the Mid-Fast headquarters, as the heads of individual chapters are typically busy running their branches. Many members of the Assembly are also the head of a department of research and development. Aurum Lucanum Athenor Locke, for example, oversees the arcane mechanics who produce warjacks for the Crucible Guard. Subordinate to the Aurum Lucanum are the Aurum Ominous, each a full-fledged member of the Order. The Ominous work in various departments under the oversight of an Aurum Lucanum and have myriad specialties or dedicated fields of study. Combat alchemist sergeants in the Crucible Guard hold this rank. Acquiring any of these higher ranks requires passing difficult attestation tests to prove competence in one's field. The lowest rank within the Order of the Golden Crucible is that of apprentice, aspiring members who assist one or more Aurum Ominous in their work. Apprentice combat alchemists are common, as they possess adequate understanding of alchemical formulae, while simultaneously being disposable in the grand scheme. Those who struggle to pass rank attestations may serve as apprentices for many years, so not all with this rank are young. Leadership of the Crucible Guard. Commander of the Guard, Jean Resson Daggett, has ultimate oversight of the Crucible Guard from its headquarters in Mid-Fast. With the recent reorganization, Commander Daggett's role has become primarily administrative, with an emphasis on coordination between the Crucible Guard and the Ordic military, and she is in close and frequent contact with Aurum Lucanum Crina Torcoil. Marshal General Baldwin Gearhart has become the de facto leader of the active army, at least on an operational level. A talented mercenary warcaster, the Marshal General commands the military strength of the forces mustered in Ord. He technically outranks Aurum Legate de Moray in military matters, though in practice he defers to Dian Moray's suggestions, given the legate's intelligence, force of personality, and close familiarity with the situation in Lael. Despite their very different personalities, the two work together well, and Gearhart is quite content to leave many details to the Aurum Legate while he focuses on his primary vocation, blowing things up with the latest military hardware entrusted to him. The Crucible Guard otherwise functions akin to other large mercenary outfits, with Captain as the highest field officer rank, each overseeing a company. The size of a company varies depending on its composition, with the largest being infantry companies and the smallest being railless companies, which can include as few as 12 vehicles and their crew. Companies are divided into platoons, each under the command of a lieutenant, and platoons are in turn broken into squads, with the lieutenant personally leading a command squad and sergeants commanding the others. Railless platoons consist of 4 vehicles, with each vehicle acting as its own squad, and each vehicle commander equivalent in rank to a sergeant. Companies are distributed to multiple fronts at the discretion of the commander of the guard and the marshal general. Often, groupings of companies are led by designated individuals, especially warcasters like Aurum Legate de More or Aurum Adeptus Silvestro, though other influential leaders can also take on this role. In other cases, a senior company captain receives temporary promotion to marshal to handle the duty of commanding subordinate captains. This loose organization allows the army to respond quickly on multiple fronts. Each captain has greater authority to make strategic decisions in the face of an unfolding battle, provided those choices align with the overall goals of a mission. A company operates as its own discrete unit much of the time, responding to threats as it deems fit, until receiving overriding orders from above. Specialized companies, such as Railless Interceptor, Rocket Infantry, and Heavy Infantry companies, are often paired with one or more infantry companies as a support element, depending on the strategic objective they have been assigned. Upon completing a mission, these companies can expect to be reassigned elsewhere. And so, we see a leadership structure built for flexibility and fraught with compromise. The Crucible Guard is led by committee, by contract, and by the chaotic demands of war. It begs the final question: can an army serve two masters, a king's strategy and an order's vengeance, without fracturing? The campaign in Lael will be their ultimate test. If you enjoyed these and never want to miss our classes, please subscribe to our courses. And if you would, be so kind, please hit that like button and comment below. Any questions you may have that I can assist with. And, as always, class dismissed.